My daughter screamed at me in front of 150 wedding guests. "You're not invited. You embarrass me." I turned and walked out. 3 hours later, police arrived at her reception, and she was calling me, begging for help. I'm 58. I raised her alone after her father died. I worked double shifts as a nurse to pay for her nursing degree. And on her wedding day, she threw me out like garbage. But here's what she didn't know. I hadn't actually left. I was watching, waiting, because something about her fiancé felt wrong from the start. What I discovered that night saved her life. This is the story of how I became the mother she needed, not the one she wanted. Let me take you back to 8 months ago, when I first met Marcus. That's when I should have known. Marcus. Even his name sounded smooth. Too smooth. My daughter's name is Claire, 29 years old. We lost her father when she was 23, car accident on Route 76, black ice, gone before the ambulance arrived. After that, it was just us. Me and Claire against the world. I worked as a nurse for 35 years, rotating shifts at Pennsylvania General. I took every extra hour I could get so Claire could finish nursing school without debt. We lived in a small house on the edge of town. 2 bedrooms, a kitchen with yellow curtains I sewed myself, a garden out back where I grew roses. Every Sunday, we baked together. My mother's recipe for apple crumb cake. Claire would measure the flour while I creamed the butter. We'd talk about her week, her patients, the doctors who didn't listen. She called me her best friend. I believed her. Then she met Marcus. It was 8 months before the wedding. Claire brought him to dinner on a Tuesday night. I made pot roast. He arrived wearing a suit, to a home-cooked dinner. That should have been my first sign. Marcus was 34. Sales executive, he said. He talked about building wealth, about networking, about how appearances mattered in his line of work. He used phrases like leveraging opportunities and maximizing potential. I nodded and passed him the potatoes. After dinner, he looked around my living room, the floral couch I'd had since the 90s, the crocheted blankets, the framed photos of Claire's childhood covering every surface. His eyes moved across it all like he was cataloging evidence. "This is charming," he said, "very authentic." Authentic, like my home was a museum exhibit. Claire didn't seem to notice. She was watching him with this bright, nervous energy, like she was waiting for his approval, of me, of my house, of the life I'd built for us. Over the next few months, things shifted. Claire stopped calling as much. She'd cancel our Sunday baking sessions. "Wedding planning is exhausting, Mom," she'd say. "Marcus and I have so much to do." She moved into a new apartment with him, downtown, glass and steel. When I asked to visit, she hesitated. "It's still a mess," she said. "Maybe in a few weeks." Those few weeks never came. One night, I called her just to talk. She was on speaker. I could hear Marcus in the background. "Is that your mom again?" he asked. Not mean, just factual. Like I was a recurring inconvenience. Claire lowered her voice. "I'll call you back, okay?" She didn't. I started noticing other things. The way she stopped mentioning her job at the hospital. The way she dressed differently when she came by designer labels, expensive jewelry. The way she looked at my kitchen like she was embarrassed by it. I told myself it was normal. She was building a new life, getting married, growing up. But mothers know. Deep down, we always know when something's wrong. 3 weeks before the wedding, Claire came by. She didn't come inside, just stood on the porch. "Mom, the guest list is too long. Marcus's family is very particular. High society. I'd only invited 3 people, my sister Linda and 2 friends from the hospital." "You mean I'm not good enough?" She wouldn't look at me. "That's not what I meant." "Whatever makes you happy, sweetheart." After she left, I sat in the kitchen for 2 hours. My tea went cold. I never touched it. I should have called her. I should have fought back. But I didn't. I wanted her to come back on her own. That was my mistake, because everything started to change after that night, and I was about to lose her completely. 10 days before the wedding, I got a text from Claire. Not a call, a text. "Picking up my dress tomorrow. Just me and Marcus's mom and sisters. You understand, right?" I read it 3 times. When Claire was little, we used to play wedding. She'd wear my old white nightgown, and carry a bouquet of dandelions from the yard. We'd walk down the hallway together while I hummed the bridal march. She always said, "When I get married for real, you'll help me pick the most beautiful dress in the world." We even had a Pinterest board, 27 dresses saved over 3 years. We'd look at it together on Sunday mornings, drinking coffee, laughing about the ones with too many ruffles. I texted back, "Of course, honey. Have fun." Then I went into my bedroom and opened the closet. My wedding dress was still there, wrapped in plastic, yellowing at the edges. I hadn't looked at it in years. I took it out and sat on the bed, running my fingers over the lace. That night, I didn't sleep. 5 days before the wedding, my sister Linda called. "See you at Claire's bridal shower on Saturday." I didn't say anything. "Janet, you there?" "Linda, what shower?" "Oh God, you weren't invited?" "Apparently not." Linda's voice went hard. "That's unacceptable. I'm calling Claire right now." "Don't." I surprised myself with how calm I sounded. "It's fine." "It's not fine. You're her mother." After we hung up, I called Claire. She answered on the 4th ring. "Hey, Mom, I'm kind of busy." "Linda mentioned your bridal shower." "Oh, yeah, it's just a small thing. Marcus's sisters organized it, very intimate." "But I'm your mother." "I know who you are, Mom." Her voice had an edge I'd never heard before, sharp, defensive. "I didn't go to the shower, but I'd been working on something for months. A photo album, handmade. I'd spent 3 months on it, gluing in pictures from Claire's childhood. Her first day of school, her nursing school graduation, the 2 of us baking in the kitchen. Every page had a note written in my own hand. Little memories, inside jokes. I'd planned to give it to her at the bridal shower. Instead, I wrapped it and put it in my car. I'd find another time. 3 days before the wedding, there was a rehearsal dinner. I was invited to that, finally. The invitation said, "Cocktail attire." I didn't own anything cocktail. I had my church dress, navy blue, simple. I wore that. The restaurant was downtown. Expensive, the kind of place with cloth napkins and waiters in bow ties. When I walked in, everyone else was dressed like they'd stepped out of a magazine. Silk dresses, diamond earrings. Marcus's mother wore pearls. I looked like someone's aunt who'd gotten lost on the way to a funeral. Claire saw me and her face did something. Not quite a wince, but close. She introduced me to Marcus's family. His mother, Patricia. His father, Richard. His 2 sisters, Vanessa and Kristen. His brother, Blake. "This is my mom," Claire said. Not my mother with pride, just my mom, like an obligation. Patricia shook my hand. Her grip was limp. "How lovely to finally meet you. Claire's told us so much." I doubted that. During dinner, I sat at the end of the table. Marcus's family filled the other seats, talking over each other about country clubs and vacation homes in the Hamptons. Claire laughed at their jokes, leaned into Marcus when he put his arm around her. At one point, Patricia pulled Claire aside. They were standing near the bar, close enough that I could hear if I tried. And I tried. "Darling, your mother is charming, in a simple way." Claire didn't defend me. She just smiled, a tight, polite smile. She's always been low-key. Low-key. Like I was a design choice she'd outgrown. I excused myself and went to the bathroom. I stood at the sink and looked at myself in the mirror. My hair was graying at the temples. My hands were rough from years of hospital work. My dress was 10 years old. I looked exactly like what I was, a working-class woman who'd done her best. When I came back to the table, Claire was laughing at something Vanessa said. She didn't look at me. I drove home that night asking myself questions I didn't want to answer. Had I failed her? Had I not taught her enough? Not given her enough? Or had I taught her wrong? Made her think love was supposed to be easy. That family didn't require performance. The night before the wedding, I barely slept. I kept thinking about that photo album in my car. All those memories. All those years. Reduced to something I couldn't even give her because there was no right moment anymore. At 3 a.m, I got up and looked at the wedding invitation on my refrigerator. It was formal, engraved. It listed Claire's full name and Marcus's full name, and both sets of parents. Except it didn't list me as a parent. It said, Daughter of the late Robert Hayes. Just my dead husband, not me, the woman who raised her alone. I made a decision then. I would go to the wedding, I would sit quietly, I would watch my daughter get married, and then I would figure out what came next. I didn't know that by the end of that day, everything would shatter, that Claire would scream at me in front of everyone, that I would walk out, that the life she was stepping into wasn't a marriage, it was a trap. But I'd find out soon enough. We'd never done that special thing together, picking her dress, planning her day. The wedding was all I had left. The morning of the wedding, I woke up at 5. I hadn't slept, not really. I got dressed carefully. The navy dress again. I didn't have anything else. I did my makeup light, brushed my hair back, looked at myself one more time and thought, this is good enough. It has to be. I drove to the venue an hour early. It was a resort outside the city. 45 minutes on the highway. White columns, fountain out front, chandeliers visible through the windows. I parked and sat in my car for a while. The photo album was on the passenger seat, wrapped in silver paper. I picked it up and held it. Maybe I could still give it to her. Before the ceremony. Just a quick moment. Mother to daughter. I walked inside. The lobby was already full of people setting up, flowers everywhere, white roses, the kind that cost more than my grocery budget for a month. A woman in a headset saw me. Can I help you? I'm the bride's mother. She checked her clipboard, frowned. Name? Janet Hayes. She ran her finger down the list. I don't see you on the early access list. I just want to see my daughter before the ceremony. Give her a gift. The woman looked uncomfortable. Let me check with the wedding coordinator. She walked away. I stood there holding the album. A few minutes later, one of Marcus's sisters appeared. Vanessa. She looked me up and down. Mrs. Hayes, Claire's getting ready. She's very busy. I know. I just wanted to give her this. I held up the album. Vanessa reached for it. I can make sure she gets it. I'd like to give it to her myself. That's not really possible right now. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. You understand. I didn't move. I'm her mother. Of course. Vanessa's voice went cold. But today is about Claire and Marcus, and they've asked for some space during preparations. Family only. Family only. As if I wasn't family. I stood there for a long moment. Then I set the album on the lobby table. Make sure she gets it. Vanessa picked it up without looking at it. Of course. I turned to leave. Then I saw Claire. She was coming down the hallway in a white robe, her hair in curlers. She saw me and stopped. For a second, just a second, her face softened, like she was about to say something, like maybe she'd changed her mind. Then Marcus appeared behind her, his hand on her shoulder. Claire's expression shifted, closed off. She walked toward me, slowly. Marcus stayed a few steps back, but I could feel him watching. Mom. Her voice was quiet. What are you doing here so early? I wanted to see you, before everything started. I'm really busy right now. I know, I gestured toward the album Vanessa was holding. I made you something. Claire glanced at it. Didn't ask what it was. Thanks. That was it. Just thanks. Claire, can we talk? Just for a minute? She looked over her shoulder at Marcus. He gave a small nod. Permission. She pulled me aside, into a corner near the windows. Mom, I need you to understand something. Today has to be perfect. I know. Marcus's family is very important, very connected. They're watching everything. I just want to be here for you. You are here. She wasn't looking at me. She was looking past me, at the lobby, at Marcus, at everything except my face. But I need you to be quiet today. Don't talk to Marcus's family unless they talk to you first. Don't mention the house or your job or anything about how we used to live. The words hit me like cold water. You're ashamed of me. I'm not ashamed. But she still wouldn't look at me. I'm just trying to fit in. By erasing me? Her jaw tightened. You don't get it, Mom. You've never wanted more than your little house and your little garden. That's fine for you. But I want more. Marcus can give me more. She stepped closer, lowered her voice even more. His family is judging everything, every detail. I can't have you ruin this for me. I felt something crack inside my chest. Not break, not yet, just crack. I would never ruin anything for you, Claire. She looked at me then, really looked, and I saw it. Fear. She wasn't just ashamed, she was terrified of losing Marcus, of losing this life she thought she wanted. I have to go, she said. She turned and walked away. Marcus met her halfway, put his arm around her, led her back down the hall. I stood there alone in the lobby, holding nothing now. The album was gone. Claire was gone. I should have left then, driven home, let her have her perfect day without me. But I didn't. I told myself I'd stay, be invisible, sit in the back, let her have this. This wasn't punishment. She believed she was doing the right thing. That's what hurt most. I didn't know that in an hour, staying would become impossible. I didn't go back to my car. I walked to the ceremony hall instead. Guests were starting to arrive. Women in pastels, men in dark suits. Everyone looked expensive. Everyone looked like they belonged. A security guard checked names at the door. When I gave mine, he found it. Row 14, near the back. I took my seat. The chair was cold. I set my purse down and looked around. Marcus's family filled the first 3 rows. Claire's side was mostly empty. A few co-workers from the hospital. Linda hadn't arrived yet. I sat there and thought about Claire's face in the lobby, the fear in her eyes, the way Marcus's hand had controlled her shoulder. Something wasn't right. It hadn't been right for months. I couldn't leave. Not yet. Because if something was wrong, really wrong, I needed to know. I started planning something. Not revenge, just truth. But before I could think it through, the ceremony started. Music filled the hall. Everyone stood. I stood too. Claire appeared at the back of the aisle. She looked beautiful. The dress was simple, elegant. Lace sleeves, a long train. Nothing like the dresses on our Pinterest board, but beautiful. She walked alone. No one to give her away. Her father was gone, and I wasn't asked. She kept her eyes forward. Didn't look at me. Didn't look at anyone except Marcus, waiting at the altar. When she reached him, he took her hands, smiled. The officiant began. I tried to focus on Claire's face, tried to see happiness there. But all I saw was that same fear from the lobby, hidden behind makeup and a frozen smile. The officiant was talking about love and commitment, about building a life together, about family. Family. The word felt hollow in that room. Then something happened I didn't expect. The officiant paused. Marcus leaned in and whispered something to him. The officiant nodded. Marcus took the microphone. Before we begin, Marcus said, his voice smooth and loud, I want to take a moment to thank everyone who helped make this day possible. He thanked his parents, his sisters, his brother, the wedding planner, the caterer, everyone. He didn't mention me. Not once. Claire stood next to him, gripping her bouquet. Her knuckles were white. Then Marcus turned to the crowd. His eyes swept the room. They landed on me. Row 14. I also want to address something. He was still smiling. Some of you may have noticed someone in the back who seems a bit out of place. Out of place. My stomach dropped. Everyone turned. 150 faces, all looking at me. That's Claire's mother, Marcus continued. She's here today, and while we appreciate her presence, I want to make one thing clear. He put his arm around Claire. Possessive, controlling. Claire and I are starting a new chapter. A chapter that's about our future, our values, our standards. He looked directly at me again. We're grateful for the past, but this is our day, our circle. The room was silent. You could hear the air conditioning humming. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Claire didn't stop him. She just stood there, eyes down, holding that bouquet like it was the only thing keeping her upright. A woman next to me whispered to her husband, Did he just... Shh, the husband said. I knew I should leave, walk out, but my legs wouldn't move. Then Claire spoke, quiet, but the microphone picked it up. Marcus. He squeezed her shoulder, a small gesture, but I saw what it was, a warning. Claire went silent. The officiant cleared his throat, tried to move on. Shall we continue with the vows? But I was already standing. Everyone turned again, watching. I picked up my purse, stepped into the aisle. Claire looked up then, finally looked at me. I saw shame in her eyes. And something else. Panic. She stepped down from the altar, walked toward me. Marcus stayed where he was, but his jaw tightened. Claire's heels clicked on the marble floor. She stopped 3 feet away from me. "Mom," she said. Her voice was shaking. "Wait." I stopped, turned back. She came closer, close enough that only the first few rows could hear. "You're not invited," she whispered. But somehow it felt like she was shouting, "You embarrass me." The words were quiet, but they hit like a slap. I looked at my daughter, this woman I'd raised alone, who I'd worked double shifts for, who I'd given everything to. And I saw a stranger. "Sweetheart, please," her voice cracked. "Just go." I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I just looked at her one more time. Then I turned and walked out. The door closed behind me. The music started again inside. They were continuing, like I'd never been there. I walked through the lobby, through the front doors, into the parking lot. My car was where I'd left it. I unlocked it, got in, closed the door, and I sat there. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just Saturday. The photo album was gone. Claire was gone. Everything was gone. I looked at the venue. White columns. Fountain. Beautiful. From the outside, it looked perfect. I thought about driving home, crawling into bed, letting this day end. But then I thought about the fear in Claire's eyes, the way Marcus's hand controlled her, the way she'd whispered those words like she was reading from a script. This wasn't love. This was control. And if I left now, I'd never know the truth. I didn't start the car. I just sat there, watching the building, waiting. I saw it then. The moment everything clicked into place. The way Marcus had humiliated me wasn't random. It was strategic. He was isolating Claire, cutting her off from everyone who might question him, everyone who might help her escape. I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was something else, something cold, something focused. Because if my daughter couldn't see the truth, maybe I needed to find it for her. This wasn't revenge, really. It was justice. I sat in that parking lot for 30 minutes. Cars came and went, guests arriving late, vendors making deliveries. Then I called Linda. She answered on the second ring. "Janet, where are you?" I just got to the venue, and they said the ceremony already started. "Don't go in," I said. "What? Why?" "Just don't. Meet me at the Starbucks on Maple Street. 10 minutes. "Janet, what's going on?" "I'll explain when you get there." I hung up before she could argue. I drove to the Starbucks, ordered a coffee I didn't drink, sat at a table in the corner, and waited. Linda arrived 15 minutes later. She was dressed for a wedding, pale blue dress, heels, clutch purse. When she saw my face, she sat down fast. "What happened?" I told her. All of it. The lobby, the ceremony, Marcus's speech, Claire's words. Linda's face went red. "That son of a—" "Linda." I kept my voice low, steady. "I don't have time to be sad right now. I need information." She blinked. "What kind of information?" "About Marcus, his job, his finances, anything you can find." Linda worked as a loan officer at First National Bank, had for 20 years. She knew how to pull records, how to ask the right questions. "Janet, I can't just access someone's financial information." "Linda, something is wrong. He's too controlling. Claire is too afraid. I need to know why." She looked at me for a long moment. Then she pulled out her phone. "Give me an hour." She left. I stayed at the Starbucks, watched people come and go, a mother with 2 small children, a couple holding hands, a man working on his laptop. Normal people, living normal lives. My phone buzzed. A text from Linda. "Call me." I stepped outside and dialed. "Janet." Her voice was tight. "You need to hear this." "Tell me." Marcus lied. About everything. My hand tightened on the phone. "What do you mean?" "He's not a successful sales executive. He was fired from his last 2 jobs. Financial misconduct both times." I leaned against my car. "What else?" "He's being investigated. Some kind of promissory note scam. He's been taking money from investors and disappearing. The state attorney's office has an open file on him." My stomach turned. How much money? I don't have exact numbers, but enough that they're building a fraud case. I thought about Claire, her new apartment, her designer clothes, her jewelry. Linda, is Claire's name on anything? Linda? Yes. Her voice was barely a whisper. She co-signed 3 loans, total of about $180,000. The world tilted. She doesn't know, I said. She has no idea. Janet, it's worse than that. How can it be worse? He's been using her credit, opening accounts in her name, cards, lines of credit. She's on the hook for all of it. I couldn't breathe. He's not marrying her for love. He's marrying her for cover. It looks that way. I thought about Marcus's family, the way they'd surrounded Claire, the way they'd pushed me out. His family, I said. Are they part of it? I can't confirm that, but his father was investigated for similar activity 10 years ago. Case was dropped. Insufficient evidence. They'd done this before. Linda, can you send me everything? Documents, records, screenshots, anything you have. I'll email it to you in 10 minutes. But Janet, what are you going to do? I'm going to protect my daughter. I hung up, got back in my car. The email came through. 47 pages of documents, bank statements, credit reports, loan applications with Claire's forged signature. I looked at one document, then another, and another. Each one made it clearer. Marcus wasn't just a liar, he was a predator. And Claire was his target. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Mrs. Hayes? A woman's voice. Professional. This is Sarah Mitchell. I'm a friend of Claire's from nursing school. I'm at the wedding reception right now, and I think something's wrong. I sat up straight. What do you mean? Claire looks scared. Marcus won't let her talk to anyone alone. And his father just pulled her into a private room. She came back looking pale. Where are you? In the bathroom. I had to pretend I was sick to get away from my table. Sarah, I need you to do something. Keep an eye on Claire. If anything seems wrong, if she looks like she's in danger, you text me immediately. What's happening? I think Claire's in trouble, and I'm going to get her out. I hung up. Looked at the venue address in my GPS. The reception would last for hours. I had time. I pulled up the first document Linda sent, studied it, then the next, and the next. I wasn't going back to that venue as Claire's embarrassing mother. I was going back with proof. The next few hours would tell everything. An hour passed. Then another text from Sarah. Mrs. Hayes, people are talking about what Marcus said during the ceremony. Some of Claire's co-workers from the hospital are upset. They're asking questions. I texted back, what kind of questions? About you. About why he would say that. About why Claire didn't defend you. One of the nurses, Emily, said it reminded her of something. She's trying to remember what. I stared at my phone. Then it rang again. Sarah. Mrs. Hayes. Emily just told me something. She said 3 years ago, she took care of a patient, a young woman. Car accident. The woman died. Her husband was there. Very upset. Very theatrical about his grief. My hands went cold. And? The husband's name was Marcus. She's almost sure of it. What was the woman's name? Rachel. Rachel something. Emily said the accident was suspicious. The police investigated, but nothing came of it. I opened my laptop, typed into the search bar, Rachel Marcus, car accident. Several results came up. I clicked the first one. Local woman dies in tragic accident. The article was from 3 years ago. A photo showed a young woman, dark hair, bright smile. Her name was Rachel Bennett. Survived by her husband, Marcus Bennett. I scrolled down. The accident happened 6 months after their wedding. Single car crash. Rachel's car went off a bridge. Marcus wasn't in the vehicle. The investigation found no evidence of foul play. But the article mentioned something else. A life insurance policy. $400,000. Marcus was the sole beneficiary. I felt sick. Sarah, I said, I need you to do something else. Find out if anyone else at the reception knows Marcus. From before Claire, anyone. I'll try. She hung up. I kept reading. There were more articles. About the investigation. About the insurance payout. About Marcus moving out of state 6 months later. He'd done this before. And now, he was doing it to Claire. My phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. Found someone. A business associate of Marcus's father. Says the family has a reputation. Uses marriage to access credit. Then disappears when things go bad. Says Marcus's brother did the same thing 2 years ago. I texted back. Is Claire okay right now? She's at the head table. Marcus is giving a toast. She's not eating, just sitting there. She looks exhausted. I thought about Claire's job, the one she'd quit 3 months ago. I texted Sarah. Does anyone know why Claire quit the hospital? Then, Emily says Claire told her Marcus wanted her to focus on the wedding. But Emily thought it was weird. Claire loved that job. Isolation, control, financial abuse. The pattern was clear. I opened my email, drafted a message to Linda. Linda, I need you to check something. Find out if Marcus took out any life insurance policies on Claire. Check recent applications. Last 6 months. She replied 5 minutes later. Janet, yes. $500,000 policy. Taken out 4 months ago. Claire's the insured. Marcus is the beneficiary. She signed the application. But I knew she hadn't. Not willingly. Does it look legitimate? I texted back. The signature looks shaky, like someone was nervous or coerced. I looked at the documents on my screen. The fraud, the fake loans, the forged signatures, the previous wife who died, the insurance policy. Marcus wasn't just isolating Claire. He was setting her up. And I had no idea how far he was willing to go. I had to move fast. I called Sarah again. I need you to stay close to Claire. Don't let her leave with Marcus alone. Not in a car, not anywhere. Do you understand? You're scaring me. Good. You should be scared. I think Claire's in real danger. What are you going to do? I'm calling the police. And then I'm coming back to that venue. I hung up, dialed 911. The operator answered. 911, what's your emergency? I need to report a fraud, and possibly a threat to someone's life. Tomorrow they'd have to choose, but tonight I was choosing for them. The 911 operator transferred me to a detective. I explained everything. The fraud, the forged signatures, the previous wife, the life insurance policy on Claire. The detective's name was Reeves. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she said, Mrs. Hayes, do you have proof of these claims? I have 47 pages of financial documents, bank statements, credit reports, loan applications with forged signatures, and articles about his previous wife's death. Can you email those to me? I sent everything to the address she gave me. Waited. Mrs. Hayes, I'm looking at these now. This is concerning. Where is your daughter currently? At her wedding reception, at the Riverside Resort. Is she in immediate danger? I don't know, but I think she might be. I have someone inside keeping an eye on her. Stay where you are. I'm sending officers to the venue now. Do not approach Marcus or his family. Do you understand? Yes. I'll call you back in 20 minutes. She hung up. I sat in my car, hands shaking. This was real now. Police were coming. Claire would know I'd called them. She'd be furious, or worse, she'd think I was trying to ruin her life. But I couldn't think about that. I could only think about keeping her alive. My phone rang. Sarah. Mrs. Hayes, something just happened. Emily pulled me aside. She wants to talk to you. Put her on. A new voice came through, older, steady. Mrs. Hayes, this is Emily. I was Claire's supervisor at the hospital. Thank you for calling. Sarah told me what you're doing. I want to help. What Marcus did to you at that ceremony was cruel, and I've been watching him all night. The way he controls Claire. The way he touches her shoulder every time someone tries to talk to her. It's not right. Did you really take care of his first wife, Rachel? I did. 3 years ago. She came into the ER after the accident. She was already gone by the time she arrived. But Marcus was there. And something about him felt off. He was crying, saying all the right things. But it felt rehearsed. Did you tell the police? I mentioned it to the officer who came to the hospital, but they said there was no evidence of foul play. The car went off the road, no other vehicles involved. They ruled it an accident. But you didn't believe it? No, I didn't. And when I saw Marcus tonight, with Claire, it all came back, the way he looks at her, like she's a thing he owns. Emily, the police are on their way to the venue right now, but I need Claire to be safe until they get there. Can you and Sarah stay with her? We will. But Mrs. Hayes, you should know something. Marcus just told Claire they're leaving soon. He said they have a flight to catch, honeymoon in the Bahamas. My blood went cold. When? He said in an hour. They're going to skip out on the rest of the reception. An hour. That was barely enough time. Emily, don't let them leave. Make up an excuse. Say Claire needs to say goodbye to people. Say anything. Just keep her there until the police arrive. I'll try. She hung up. I called Detective Reeves back. She answered immediately. Mrs. Hayes. He's trying to take her out of the country. Tonight. He told her they have a flight to the Bahamas in an hour. Understood. We're 10 minutes from the venue. I need you to stay on the line with me. Can you do that? Yes. Good. Is there anyone inside who can delay them? Yes. 2 of Claire's friends, nurses from the hospital. Tell them to keep Claire visible, in the main reception area, not in a back room, not in a car. Understood? Understood? I texted Sarah and Emily. Keep Claire in the reception hall. Do not let Marcus take her anywhere private. Police are coming. Sarah replied immediately. We're on it. Detective Reeves was still on the line. Mrs. Hayes, I have to ask. When the officers arrive, your daughter may not understand what's happening. She may be upset with you. Are you prepared for that? I thought about Claire's face when she told me I embarrassed her. I thought about all the years I'd worked to give her a good life. I thought about her father, who died too young and never got to see her grow up. I'm her mother, I said. I don't need her to understand right now. I just need her to be alive. Okay, officers are pulling into the venue now. Stay on the line. I waited. Seconds felt like hours. Then I heard it through the phone. Sirens, faint at first, then louder. My phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. Police just walked in. Marcus saw them. He's standing up. Claire looks confused. Another text. Marcus is talking to an officer. He's smiling, acting like everything's fine. Then, the officer just asked to speak to him privately. Marcus's face changed. He's not smiling anymore. I closed my eyes, waited. Detective Reeves came back on the line. Mrs. Hayes, officers have made contact with Marcus. They're taking him aside for questioning. Your daughter is safe. Can I see her? Not yet. We need to sort this out first, but she's not leaving with him. I promise you that. I didn't cry. I didn't feel relief. I just felt tired. Thank you, I said. Mrs. Hayes, you saved your daughter's life tonight. You know that, right? I looked at the venue in the distance. White columns, fountain, lights glowing through the windows. Somewhere in there, Claire was sitting at a table, watching her new husband be questioned by police. Probably confused, probably angry, probably wondering what I'd done. But she was alive. And that was all that mattered. Tell me what you need, Detective Reeves said. I need to know she's safe, that's all. She is, and we'll make sure she stays that way. 20 minutes later, Detective Reeves called me back. Mrs. Hayes, we have a situation. Marcus is refusing to cooperate. He's demanding to know who filed the complaint. He's threatened to sue for harassment. What about Claire? She's upset, confused. She doesn't understand why we're questioning her husband at their wedding reception. She's demanding to leave with him. My heart sank. You can't let her. We can't hold her against her will, not without evidence of immediate danger. And right now, all we have is suspicious activity. Financial fraud takes time to investigate. What about Rachel, his first wife? That case was closed 3 years ago, ruled accidental. We can't reopen it without new evidence. I leaned my head against the steering wheel. So he's just going to walk out of there with her? Not if we can help it. But Mrs. Hayes, we need more. Something concrete. Something that proves he's an immediate threat. I thought about the documents Linda sent. The forged signatures. The fake loans. What if Claire knew? About the fraud, about the loans in her name. Would that be enough? It might be, if she's willing to press charges, but you'd have to convince her. And from what the officers are telling me, she's not in a listening mood right now. I looked at my phone. Sarah hadn't texted in 10 minutes. Detective, can I talk to her? To Claire? I don't think that's a good idea right now. Please, just 5 minutes, I need to try. Hold on. I waited, heard muffled voices, then footsteps. Mrs. Hayes? It was a different officer, male, younger. Your daughter is willing to talk to you, but she's very upset. I'm putting her on now. Then Claire's voice. Mom? She sounded exhausted, broken. What did you do? Claire, I need you to listen to me. No, you need to listen to me. You ruined my wedding. You called the police on my husband on our wedding day. Do you have any idea how humiliating this is? Sweetheart, Marcus isn't who you think he is. Stop, just stop. I know you never liked him. I know you think I'm making a mistake. But this is my life, my choice. Claire, he's been lying to you. About his job, about his finances. He's been using your credit. That's not true. Marcus explained everything. We're building a life together. Sometimes that means co-signing loans, making joint decisions. Did he tell you about Rachel? Claire. Marcus was married before. 3 years ago. His wife died in a car accident 6 months after their wedding. He collected $400,000 in life insurance. People die in accidents, Mom. That doesn't make him a criminal. He took out a life insurance policy on you 4 months ago. $500,000 with a forged signature. That's not true. Linda checked. She has the documents. Your signature was forged. Linda? Claire's voice rose. You dragged Aunt Linda into this? You've been investigating my husband behind my back? I was trying to protect you. From what? From being happy? From having a life that's different from yours? The words hit hard, but I kept going. Claire, I need you to ask Marcus something. Ask him about his job, about the 2 companies that fired him, about the state investigation for fraud. I'm not doing this. Ask him why he wanted you to quit your job, why he isolated you from your friends, why he pushed me out of your life. Because you're doing this. Her voice cracked. Because you can't let me go. Because you need me to need you. I closed my eyes. That's what he wants you to believe, that I'm the problem, that I'm controlling you. But Claire, he's the one who's been controlling you. For months. I'm hanging up now. Wait. No, I'm done. I'm leaving with my husband, and I don't want to see you, or hear from you. Not tonight, not ever. The line went dead. I sat there, phone in hand, the venue lights still glowing in the distance. She didn't believe me. After everything, after all the evidence, she chose him. My phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. Mrs. Hayes, Claire and Marcus are getting ready to leave. The police can't stop them. What do we do? I texted back. Don't let them get in a car together. Stall them. I'm coming. I started the engine, put the car in drive. I wasn't going back as the embarrassing mother anymore. I wasn't going back with just proof. I was going back to fight. The best part was still ahead. I drove back to the venue, parked near the entrance this time, not in the back lot, not hiding. I walked through the front doors. The lobby was chaos. Guests were leaving, talking in hushed voices, pointing. I saw Sarah first. She was standing near the reception hall entrance. When she saw me, she ran over. Mrs. Hayes, they're in the lobby. Marcus is trying to get Claire to leave through the side exit. Emily's been stalling them, asking Claire to say goodbye to people. But Marcus is getting angry. Where are the police? They're still here. But they said they can't arrest Marcus without more evidence. He's threatening to sue the venue, the officers, everyone. I looked across the lobby, saw Claire standing near the fountain, still in her wedding dress. Mascara smudged. Marcus had his hand on her arm, tight. Patricia and Richard were standing nearby. Vanessa, too. The family was circling. I walked toward them. Marcus saw me first. His face went hard. You, he said. This is all your fault. Claire turned. When she saw me, her expression crumbled. Anger and pain mixed together. Mom, I told you. I know what you told me, but I'm not leaving until you hear this. Marcus stepped between us. Mrs. Hayes, you need to leave. Now, before I have you removed for harassment. Go ahead, call security, call the police, they're already here. One of the officers stepped forward, the same young one who'd put Claire on the phone. Ma'am, please, this isn't helping. I ignored him, looked at Claire. Did you sign any loan applications in the last 6 months? Mom, just answer. Did you sign anything? Marcus and I co-signed some paperwork for the apartment. For how many documents? She hesitated. I don't know. 3? 4? I pulled out my phone, showed her the screen, Linda's email. The loan documents. You signed 11, for a total of $180,000. Do you remember signing 11 loan applications? Claire looked at the phone, then at Marcus. Marcus? She's lying. Those documents are fake. They're not fake. I can prove it. Linda pulled them from the bank. Your signature is on all of them. But I don't think you remember signing most of them, because he forged them. Marcus's jaw tightened. That's slander. It's truth. And there's more. I scrolled to another document. This is a life insurance policy. $500,000. You're the insured. He's the beneficiary. It was taken out 4 months ago. Claire stared at the screen. I didn't sign that. Yes, you did, Marcus said quickly. Remember? When we signed the apartment lease, it was in that stack of papers. I don't remember. You were tired. I told you it was just rental insurance. Claire's face changed. Something clicked. You told me not to read everything. You said you'd already reviewed it. Because I had. I was protecting you from boring paperwork. Or you were hiding what I was signing. Marcus reached for her. Claire, don't let her manipulate you. Don't touch me. She stepped back, away from him. It was small, but it was something. Claire, I said quietly. Marcus was married before. To a woman named Rachel. She died 6 months after their wedding. Car accident. He collected $400,000 in life insurance. Claire looked at Marcus. Is that true? Yes, but why didn't you tell me? Because it was painful, because I didn't want to bring my past into our future. Or because you didn't want me to know the pattern. I said, Rachel died 6 months after the wedding. You're planning to take Claire out of the country tonight, to the Bahamas. How long were you planning to stay? Marcus's face went red. This is insane. Is it? Because I spoke to a nurse who was there when Rachel died. She said something felt wrong about you, about your grief. She said it felt rehearsed. Claire was staring at Marcus now, really staring, like she was seeing him for the first time. Marcus, she said, her voice was shaking. Tell me the truth. Did you use my credit without telling me? Claire, we're married. What's mine is yours. We weren't married when you opened those accounts. Did you forge my signature? No. Then how did I sign 11 loan applications without remembering? He didn't answer. Claire turned to the officer. I want to see those documents, all of them. The officer looked at me. I forwarded Linda's email to him. He pulled it up on his phone, showed Claire. She scrolled through, page after page. Her face got paler with each one. This isn't my signature, she said quietly. This one is, but this one isn't, and this one. I never wrote my middle name like that. Marcus grabbed her arm. Claire, we can fix this. Let's just go. We'll sort it out on our honeymoon. She yanked her arm away. Let go of me. Claire. I said let go. The officer stepped between them. Sir, I need you to step back. Marcus didn't move. His eyes were on Claire. Dark, cold. All the charm was gone now. You're making a mistake, he said. No, Claire said. Her voice was stronger now. I already made one. I'm fixing it. She turned to the officer. I want to press charges. For fraud, for forgery, for whatever you can charge him with. Marcus's face twisted. You'll regret this. Maybe, but at least I'll be alive to regret it. The officer nodded, pulled out handcuffs. Marcus Bennett, you're under arrest for suspected fraud and identity theft. Patricia screamed. This is outrageous. We'll sue. We'll... Ma'am, Please step back. They cuffed Marcus. Read him his rights. The whole family was yelling now, threatening. But the officers didn't stop. They led Marcus toward the door. He looked back at Claire once, not with love, with rage. And Claire saw it. I saw her see it. The mask was off, finally. When they were gone, Claire stood there, in her wedding dress, in the lobby of a venue that should have been celebrating her happiest day. She looked at me. "Mom," she whispered, "I'm so sorry." I walked to her, put my arms around her. She collapsed against me, started crying. "I'm sorry," she kept saying. "I'm so sorry." "I know, baby, I know." Sarah and Emily came over, stood nearby, quiet, supportive. Linda arrived. She'd been in the parking lot the whole time, waiting. We stood there together, in the ruins of a wedding, but together. "What do I do now?" Claire asked. "Now," I said, "you come home." The next morning, Claire woke up in her old bedroom, the one with the yellow curtains, the one she'd grown up in. I made coffee, set it on the kitchen table, waited. She came downstairs at 9, still in the pajamas I'd found for her. Her wedding dress was in a heap in the corner of her room. She couldn't look at it. "Mom," she said, sitting down across from me, "I need to tell you something." "Okay." When Marcus proposed, I knew something was off. I felt it, but I ignored it because I wanted to be wrong. I didn't say anything, just listened. He started small, little comments about my friends, about my job, about you. He'd say things like, "Your mom still treats you like a child," or "Your coworkers don't appreciate you," and I believed him. She looked at her coffee, didn't drink it. Then he started controlling money. He said he'd handle our finances because he was better at it. He said I didn't need to work because he made enough for both of us, and I let him. Because it felt like love, like he was taking care of me. Claire. But it wasn't love, it was control. And last night, when the police showed up, I was so angry at you. I thought you were jealous, possessive, trying to ruin my happiness. She looked up. Her eyes were red. But you weren't. You were saving my life. I reached across the table, took her hand. "I would do it again," I said, "every time." They painted a picture of a predator, and I'd seen it too late. That afternoon, Detective Reeves called. "Mrs. Hayes, we need you and Claire to come to the station. There's something you need to see." We drove there in silence. Claire stared out the window the whole time, not crying, just thinking. At the station, Detective Reeves met us in a conference room. She had files spread across the table, photos, documents, a laptop open to a news article. "Miss Hayes," she said, "I'm sorry you have to see this, but you need to know what we found." Claire sat down. I stood behind her, put my hand on her shoulder. Detective Reeves pulled up a photo. A woman, young, blonde, smiling. "This is Rachel Bennett, Marcus's first wife. She died 3 years ago. Car accident." Claire nodded. "My mom told me." "What she didn't tell you is what we found when we reopened the investigation." She pulled up another photo. Rachel's car, mangled, at the bottom of a ravine. "The original investigation ruled it an accident. But after your mother's report, we looked deeper. We found something the first investigators missed." She clicked to another image, a close-up of the car's brake line. It was cut, not severed completely, just enough that it would fail under pressure, on a highway or a mountain road. Claire's face went pale. Rachel was driving to her mother's house, 2 hours away, mountain roads, steep curves. Her brakes failed halfway there. "Oh my God. We're reopening Rachel's case as a homicide investigation. And Mrs. Hayes, there's more." She turned the laptop toward us. Another article. Different woman, different name. "This is Amanda Pierce. She was engaged to Marcus's brother, Blake, 2 years ago. She died in a house fire. Blake collected $300,000 in insurance." Claire's hand went to her mouth. "And this," Detective Reeves continued, pulling up a third article, "is Jennifer Wallace. She was dating Marcus's father, Richard, 12 years ago. She died in a boating accident. Richard inherited her estate, worth about $600,000. I couldn't breathe. The family has been doing this for years, using marriage, using insurance, And when the women become inconvenient or suspicious, they kill them, Claire whispered. Detective Reeves nodded. We believe so. And Claire, if your mother hadn't called us last night, you would have been on a plane to the Bahamas this morning, far from home. Far from anyone who could help you. Claire turned to me, tears streaming down her face. He was going to kill me. We don't have proof of intent yet, but the pattern is clear. Marcus wasn't planning to bring you back from that honeymoon. I pulled Claire close. She was shaking. What happens now? I asked. Now, we build a case. Against Marcus, against his family. And Claire, we're going to need your help. Everything you remember, every document you signed, every conversation. All of it. Claire nodded. Whatever you need. Detective Reeves looked at me. Mrs. Hayes, your daughter is alive because you didn't give up, even when she pushed you away, even when it would have been easier to walk away. I'm her mother, I said. Walking away was never an option. He had planned it all along. The trial took 6 months to prepare. Claire stayed with me the whole time. We fell back into old routines, Sunday baking, coffee at the kitchen table, working in the garden together. She started therapy, twice a week at first, then once. She talked about the manipulation, the gaslighting, the way Marcus had slowly isolated her from everyone who loved her. He made me feel like I was broken, she told me one night. We were sitting on the back porch, watching fireflies, like I needed him to be whole. You were never broken, I said. You were just trusting. That's not a weakness. She leaned her head on my shoulder. I'm sorry I said those things to you. At the wedding. I was so cruel. You were scared, and he was in your head. That wasn't you talking. It felt like me. I know. We sat there in the quiet. The roses I'd planted 20 years ago were blooming, pink and white, the same ones Claire used to pick when she was little. Mom, she said, do you think I'll ever trust anyone again? Yes, but next time you'll trust yourself first. The trial started in September. Marcus was charged with fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy to commit murder. His family was charged as accomplices. Patricia, Richard, Blake, Vanessa, Kristen, all of them. The prosecution built their case methodically. They called witnesses, showed documents, played recordings. Sarah testified about what she saw at the reception. Emily testified about Rachel's death. Linda testified about the financial fraud. And Claire testified about everything. She sat in that witness box for 3 days, told the jury about the manipulation, the control, the forged signatures, the life insurance policy she never knowingly signed. She told them about the night of the wedding, about how I'd tried to warn her, about how she'd pushed me away, about how the police arrived just in time. I sat in the courtroom every day, front row, where Claire could see me. Marcus sat at the defense table, his face blank, emotionless, like he was watching a movie about someone else's life. But when Claire spoke, I saw something flicker in his eyes. Not remorse, anger. He was angry that she'd survived, that she'd escaped. The defense tried to paint Claire as a willing participant. They said she knew about the loans, that she'd signed everything voluntarily, that she was only claiming fraud now because she regretted the marriage. But the evidence was overwhelming. Forged signatures, fraudulent documents, the life insurance policy with the shaky signature Linda had spotted. And then there was Rachel. The prosecution brought in the forensic specialist who'd examined Rachel's car. He testified that the brake line had been deliberately cut, that it was designed to fail at high speed, that Rachel never had a chance. They showed photos of Marcus purchasing tools from a hardware store 2 days before Rachel's death. They showed his credit card receipts, his GPS location near Rachel's apartment the night before she died. They painted a picture of a predator, a man who married for money and killed when he was done. The jury deliberated for 2 days. When they came back, the courtroom was silent. On the charge of fraud in the first degree, how do you find? Guilty. On the charge of identity theft? Guilty. On the charge of conspiracy to commit murder? Guilty. Claire grabbed my hand, squeezed tight. Marcus showed no reaction, just sat there, staring straight ahead. His family was convicted too. Patricia and Richard for conspiracy, Blake for fraud and murder in Amanda's case, Vanessa and Kristen for obstruction of justice. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. Marcus got 12 years for fraud and identity theft, another 25 to life for Rachel's murder. The sentences would run consecutively. He'd be in prison for at least 37 years. He was 34. He'd be 71 before he was eligible for parole. Richard got 15 years, Patricia got 10, Blake got 30 years for Amanda's murder. The sisters got 5 years probation and heavy fines. The family empire was destroyed. After the sentencing, Claire and I stood outside the courthouse. Reporters were everywhere, cameras, microphones, questions shouted from every direction. Claire didn't want to talk to them, but I did. A reporter pushed a microphone toward me. "Mrs. Hayes, what do you want to say to other mothers who might be in a similar situation?" I looked at the camera. "Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't let anyone tell you you're overreacting. Don't let anyone make you doubt yourself." I paused, looked at Claire standing beside me. "And to the daughters, if your mother is trying to warn you about someone, listen. She's not trying to control you, she's trying to protect you, because that's what mothers do." The reporter nodded. "How does it feel knowing you saved your daughter's life?" I thought about that morning at the wedding, standing in the lobby, holding that photo album, wondering if I'd done enough, if I'd been enough. "It feels like I did what I was supposed to do," I said. "Nothing more, nothing less." Claire took my hand. She did more than that. She never gave up on me, even when I gave up on myself. We walked away from the cameras, got in my car, drove home. The house looked the same. Yellow curtains in the kitchen, roses in the garden, photos of Claire's childhood on every wall. But something was different. We were different. Claire was healing, slowly, but healing. And I'd learned something too. That love isn't just about being there for the happy moments. It's about being there for the hard ones, the impossible ones. The ones where your daughter screams at you in front of 150 people, and you stay anyway. Because that's what mothers do. Justice had been served. Not perfectly, not without scars, but it had been served. 6 months after the trial, Claire went back to work at the hospital. She moved into her own apartment again, started dating again. Slowly, every Sunday, she comes home. We bake together, apple crumb cake, my mother's recipe, and we talk, about everything, about nothing. Some people asked me if I regretted going to that wedding. I don't, because that day, I didn't lose my daughter. I saved her. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, and feel free to share your story in the comments.